The Republican Party is filled with the biggest cowards out there. It's funny that they put on this fake tough guy act, considering how easily they capitulate to one of the weakest men in the history of this country. And no one is a bigger example of that than Mike Johnson. He is just a sad, sad little man who has given up essentially the entire power of Congress, ceded it to Donald Trump because he will do anything that the dear leader asks, including lie and make himself look like a fool, which is exactly what he did today when pressed on Donald Trump's very clear health decline, which was exposed in his 60 Minutes interview last night. Mike Johnson was unable to answer, unable to speak, and ran away at the end of his press conference. We're going to get into it all, but before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, we have, of course, seen Mike Johnson do these pressers all throughout the shutdown. This one today, obviously, was particularly bad, especially because it started with one of the most insincere lies about SNAP you could possibly tell.
Well, he and I talked about this quite a bit over the weekend, multiple times. The president is desperate for SNAP benefits to flow to the American citizens who desperately rely upon it. He has bent over backwards, as you know, to get the troops paid, to keep WIC funding going. He's found creative solutions. The SNAP situation, as Secretary Rollins and I explained at the press conference on Friday, has legal impediments to that. It was understood, and we got legal advice, and it made sense to me that the contingency fund and SNAP could not be used unless the underlying funds were flowing. As Secretary Rollins relayed to you, this is pretty commonsensical. The contingency fund is an extra, in layman's terms, it's an extra fund that is there, for example, if you have an unexpected natural occurrence like a hurricane or something. And
Donald Trump came into office saying that he would make your groceries cheaper. And now Donald Trump is having to have a judge force him to provide food assistance that the government has already paid for. Congress has already appropriated funds for. Not doing so would be illegal. You can add that to the list of all the law breaking in this administration. Donald Trump isn't feeding families. He's not making it cheaper to eat or to live. He's making it more difficult, more expensive, and making children starve. So Mike Johnson lies about SNAP. His lies they're just not tracking. They're just not moving anyone. No one's buying this. Do you notice how they've kind of stopped talking about healthcare too? Because the illegals line isn't working. They've moved on from that. They found a different racist attack now with their disgusting SNAP comments. One Republican congressperson saying that, people should get off crack. 42 million Americans? I think the president's son would tell you that he's got plenty of I'm not even going to say anything about Don Jr. and drug use because I don't need to. And they'll probably sue me if I do. But like I said, they've kind of moved off the illegals line. They have a new lie to tell you about healthcare. Just listen to how bad this is before we get into Mike Johnson confronted over Donald Trump's health.
The American taxpayers and people who have health insurance have made their costs skyrocket. It is their policies that made that happen. And so instead of reforming it, the Democrats don't reform Obamacare. They want to subsidize it. They want to spend more taxpayer dollars. That, by the way, goes mostly to insurance companies, which makes the cost rise further. That's the Democrats' plan. When they passed Obamacare in 2010, they called it the Affordable Care Act. We know the truth is exactly the opposite. By some estimates, premiums have risen 60% in many categories since they passed that bill into law. Now, the fact is the opposite. Republicans are the ones fighting to save health care.
So what you're saying is Republicans hate seeing people cared for, and so they didn't want to participate in the creation of Obamacare, right? And because of that, because Republicans have been a roadblock towards expanding health coverage in America, Democrats doing it on their own means they excluded Republicans who didn't want to expand health coverage. So now it's the fault of the Democrat. Does anyone understand this line, this argument? There's no argument from Mike Johnson here. He's just throwing shit at the walls at this point. Because Republicans hate health care, it's the fault of the Democrats that people have health care that the Republicans are taking away. It sounds like you're the bad guys in that situation. It sounds like Mike Johnson is trying to hold people hostage with their food assistance, with their health care. They literally want to make it impossible for you to live. All the while, Donald Trump is writing the largest tax cuts in history to the billionaire donors who fund his campaigns and who get him shit rich off of crypto, which is what he was questioned about last night. Remember on 60 Minutes, Donald Trump said he didn't know about the pardon that he signed. And when Mike Johnson was asked about it, he gave a similar answer.
Last week, you came here to these mics and you were very critical of Joe Biden's use of the auto pen, his pardons. You said he didn't even know who he was pardoning. But last night on 60 Minutes, President Trump, admitted not knowing he pardoned a crypto billionaire who pleaded guilty to money laundering. Does that also concern you?
I don't know anything about that. I didn't see the interview. You have to ask the president about that. I'm not sure. Yes, ma'am.
Last week on Friday, you said that if there
Mike Johnson doesn't know. He doesn't know. And he didn't watch. He didn't watch Dear Leader Trump last night. I feel like that's almost a bigger crime. How could you not watch Donald Trump? How? Don't you love him, Mike? But you didn't hear what he had to say. You didn't see that the man has clearly lost his mind. Many doctors are saying that Donald Trump has had a stroke. Donald Trump has had some medical issue that has so clearly deteriorated his cognitive state. But at the end of this press conference, Mike Johnson seemed like he didn't want any more of those questions because he just ran away.
Maybe they won't punish us. Maybe it won't affect turnout in our states in these elections. Maybe after tomorrow they'll come to their common senses again and do the right thing. We certainly pray that is true. And Republicans will be on the job every single day, serving our constituents, helping guide them through the chaos that the Democrat shutdown has created, and praying that they do the right thing and stop making the American people suffer because of this nonsense. Thank you.
Mike Johnson, you are pathetic. Like, truly, this guy is pathetic. They think that they can run away from their problems. They think they can hide away from their problems. Donald Trump thinks that if he says that he doesn't know about something, it means the media won't cover it. And largely the mainstream media won't. Us in the independent media, we surely will. Donald Trump is admitting the biggest accusation he makes against Joe Biden, saying that Joe Biden is in cognitive decline, was in cognitive decline, was unaware that he was even president, didn't know who he was pardoning. And now Donald Trump is telling us that's the case about him? That is his current mental state? And at this point, I don't even know. I don't know if Donald Trump was trying to get his way out of that lie, if Donald Trump truly doesn't know who he's pardoning and for what reason. To an extent, I do. I feel like Donald Trump is, remember that SNL Reagan sketch where it was like Reagan was like all nice when regular people were around, and then like he just like snapped. It was like, and he was at work. Not that I like Reagan, but like that's what Trump is like to me when it comes to like grifting. Like he's a bumbling idiot, and we know that. But like the second he has to lock in on the grift, the second that he can like steal from his base, or he can just do any type of corruption, he's like dead set focused. He's like ready to go. It's like something clicks in his mind. So I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump was completely aware. He probably is, but it's just hard for me to not entertain the idea that this is because he had a stroke or just his obvious like larger cognitive decline. It's very difficult for me to not believe that that is the case. But whatever is the truth, what is undergirding all of this is the corruption. The corruption drives it all, whether it's cognitive decline, whether it is just the corruption itself. This crypto scheme has made Donald Trump billions of dollars, more than half his net worth. And I feel like it's barely even been a topic of conversation. I honestly think that much of the policy of this administration has been shaped by how Donald Trump can make more money. Investments in surveillance tech and private prisons, those stocks have exploded. You look at the companies getting contracts with ICE. Of course, Palantir stock has exploded. Oracle stock has exploded. Donald Trump timing the market. If you're an insider trader in this White House, you're doing real well. Many people believe that Barron with Trump was the one who shorted the crypto market as it crashed to the tune of hundreds of billions of dollars in profits. So I wouldn't be surprised if most of what Donald Trump has done, most of the decisions he's made, have been concerning how he can make himself more money. He certainly engaging with foreign leaders that way. We saw when Donald Trump was at his fake peace summit that it was the president of, I believe, Indonesia who came up to Donald Trump. Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. And said, I'd really love to speak to Eric, to Don, about their companies, their drones, their crypto exchange. It's all about the grift. And more Democrats need to be talking about the blatant corruption. Someone who always has, Senator Chris Murphy. I think what he said right here perfectly sums it all up.
Trump's crypto venture, that they are dealing directly with the people responsible for making U.S. policy in the Middle East. It's just stunning. Literally, the sons of the president and the sons of the Middle East envoy running a crypto venture and then going directly into the Middle East in order to find their first investment. And guess what? Miracle, they found it. MGX, an investment firm backed by the Emirati government at this conference, announced that they had looked at all the crypto companies in the world that they could partner with to invest $2 billion in the crypto exchange Binance, and they selected, wait for it, drum roll, the company run by the sons of the President of the United States and the U.S. Middle East envoy. $2 billion. Now, World Liberty's role in this transaction is not that complicated. It's kind of similar to a bank. MGX, this Emirati firm, deposits $2 billion with the firm and in return receives the stablecoin to be used on these crypto exchanges. The firm holds on to these dollars, invests them, and keeps the profits for themselves. So the Trump-Witkoff company just gets basically a gift of capital. And if they just use that $2 billion to invest in treasury bonds, it would profit around $85 million a year from these investments alone. And the money goes directly to Trump, just directly to Trump. It's literally not complicated. Emiratis, World Liberty Financial, Donald Trump. This isn't 1990s Louisiana. Nobody's hiding it. On World Liberty's website, they say an entity affiliated with Donald J. Trump owns 60% of the equity in the company. And because of this deal, Trump and Witkoff can further capitalize because Trump's stablecoin just became the fifth most valuable stablecoin in the world because of the Emirati investment.
We have to be talking about this more. The corruption is blatant, and I'm tired of the both sidesing their way out of this. This is something we've never seen before. We got to call it out. We're going to on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video. If you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Hit that notification bell as well. Keep on fighting. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.